Expectations on ice supposed to be stable. My name is Sir Hamthalot, and welcome to a kind of a different episode of An Aspie Gaming. Episode 15. Now, there won't be any gameplay footage of this episode. Mainly because, well, I can't think of another game to think of. And, well, it's going to be a bit different because here we have my whiteboard. So, as you saw by the title of this video, we are going to be talking about microconsoles. Now, microconsoles. They're basically, it's like a regular console, but, you know, miniature. But the console, I would talk about consoles like the Ouya or PlayStation TV or anything else like that, but forget about it. Today, we're going to talk about the many heavy hitters that is about to hit us, that have hit us in the past 3 years, and what's going to hit us in the next couple weeks. And those are, but first, let's start with a console that came out, with a micro console that came out already 3 years ago, believe it or not. Almost 3 years ago already. Sorry if you see a glare there, I can't do anything about it. The console that started off to let us know that B sometimes can come before A, the NES Classic. Now, the NES Classic, when it first came out, which was mid-November 2016, believe it or not, it was when Nintendo announced that they were going to make a micro console, people were a bit, well, I would say miffed, but honestly, they were stoked. Now, I was one of those people. I was one of those people who were excited about it. In fact, the whole day I was at school, the day it came out, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Like in study hall, when I was using a computer, I kept looking up, I looked up the website that showed NES Classic, which got me a little bit of trouble, I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, but nonetheless, I was stoked. So, my mom and dad, they went to Target that one day, and you know that feeling you get from your parents that was like, you know that feeling you get from your parents that shows that they tried and failed? That's the look I got from my parents that day. So basically, they went to Target earlier that morning, and it turns out, well, like, there were the only NES consoles that Target had were 3. Only flippin' 3. People, and the amount of people who were waiting in line was quadruple that amount, a dozen. So yeah, needless to say, a lot of people were a bit annoyed at Nintendo that day. So yeah, the NES Classic, well, the only way to get it was from, well, it was released November of 2016. That was like 3 years ago already. Holy crap! So, and needless to say, expectations. So basically, the only way to get it though was hard-earned cash, or worse, a scalper. So yeah, the only way to get an NES Classic back about a year or two ago was either paying so much money that it would be worthless, and or getting it from a dirty scalper. Yeah, you're good. So yeah, the only way to get that is through lots and lots of eBay people who are lots of money, and basically lots of money and patience, or going to a scalper, and yeah, it just wasn't the way to go until about but thankfully I got mine. Thankfully I got it for the base price of $60. It was a good day that day. I remember going to Meijer that day, the one day, and I saw an ad in the Meijer, and I saw Meijer. If you don't know what Meijer is, it's like Walmart but better. And basically, at Meijer, my mom and I saw it in the Meijer ads. She pointed my direction, and she told me to come towards her, and I walked over there, looked at a Meijer ad. There it was, an NES Classic advertisement. Which, man, of course, that had to be the day. The day I would get the NES Classic, the day the NES Classic would come out, was the next day. So my mom called. So basically, I had to wait. So I had to wait 24 hours later. So 24 hours passed, and well, my mom calls the Meijer electronics department that morning. She called, and she basically said, and they basically told her we didn't have one. Oh no. She said if they could have one, they said if they had one, which they did not. They had 7 of them. Dang. Anyway, so basically, they had 7 of them. So my mom and I zoomed back to Meijer, and I finally got one at the base price of. I got one at the base price. Thank God. I unboxed it, and I basically have a YouTube video about it. And this isn't really getting off track. And yeah, it's still in my game collection to this day. Now. So basically, the NES Classic and the reviews about it are, well, at first were pretty bad because no one could get one unless again, scalper. Now, an overall review of the NES Classic, only a small handful of games are questionable, and there is lag with Punch Out, but overall, the NES Classic 4 out of 5. So yeah, that's the NES Classic in a nutshell. Next console we're going to talk about is the SNES Classic. Now, the SNES Classic, as you know, that was my first console unboxing on YouTube, for those who didn't know that. Now, in the SNES Classic, people were a bit miffed about it again because of the disaster of the NES Classic. Because of the disaster of people were ecstatic, but again, they were concerned about the NES Classic repeating itself, mishap repeating itself. And like most micro consoles, and like the SNES Classic, and yes, history did repeat itself. Unfortunately. So basically Nintendo went out and just said they're discontinuing the NES and SNES Classics being production of being built. So until about a year later, what year was that? Until spring 2018. Almost a whole year later, ladies and gentlemen. So, in spring 2018, Nintendo basically announced that the SNES and NES and even NES Classics were to be revived and brought back from the dead. So basically, well, wow, I feel like this is a drinking game. Every time I say basically, take a shot of orange soda. Don't drink, kids. Drink water. Don't drink alcohol, drink water. Or orange soda, who knows. But anyway, so, but it didn't matter for me. Around March of 2018, this is about late winter, early spring, I was at another shopping center known as Target. I was at the shopping center known as Target. A lot of people know what that is. So basically, I went to Target, went to the gaming section, and what did I see when I was checking out the Nintendo stuff? I saw an act of God, a divine intervention, if you will. And basically, in the display case, for the base price of $80, there it was, the SNES Classic. Now, I didn't even care about the price. I immediately called my mom. I called my mom, who went to look at other stuff. I don't remember where. So I called her in a tizzy and all hyperventilating mess, saying they actually have an SNES Classic. My mind was, needless to say, my mind was blown, to say the least. SNES Classic is amazing, and I give it a 4.5 out of 5. So yeah. Basically, my life with the SNES Classic. This next micro console we're gonna get into. This is where things get a word I like. This is where things were at. What's a good word to describe this? Oh yeah, desperate. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about the PlayStation Classic. Now, let me just start off by saying I've been playing a PlayStation. I played a PlayStation from like 3 yards, really, Tyler. I played from like 3 years to like. I played from like when I was 3 to 5 years of age. I actually had an original PlayStation, believe it or not. So yeah, my initial response. To hearing about the PlayStation Classic, excitement. Now, when the PlayStation Classic was announced, there were only like, 5 games announced? And it was said to be really cheap. Now, this is where things become this is where Sony became lazy. I think around 6 months later, we got word of the official PlayStation Classic list. 20 games. We only got 20 games, and half of them were good. Half of them we were like, the frick? So yeah. And then there came the biggest insult that Sony could have made for. Then there's. So then there was the biggest insult Sony made to all of us. For 20 games, we had to pay. We had to pay up $100 just to play PlayStation Nostalgia. Over time, the price got slightly better. But that's because when I got my PlayStation Classic, I mean, I do have a PlayStation Classic, but the problem is, but here's the thing, I only bought it because it was on sale for $60 with tax. With tax, I only paid like, what, less than $65, I think. So yeah, needless to say, the PlayStation Classic was a flop. And that's not all, that's not the worst part of it. Nowadays, it's around $20. It's around $20 nowadays. Holy cow. So, yeah. So, the PlayStation Classic, I mean, the games aren't terrible, but I learned from a YouTuber named Categoris that in order to get, like, some of the, like, his PlayStation Classic had, like, what? Had, like, the PAL format, but others had, like, the NTSC format. He lives in England. Why not just be, you know, consistent with the, with like, the format, you know? Why? I mean, I tried playing on my PlayStation Classic, but I think mine, I don't know what's wrong with it, but it has like flickering, crash. It keeps acting weird. So I haven't really been able to play it. But nonetheless, PlayStation Classic, I give it a 2.5 out of 5. So, yeah. I give it like a half score. I mean, there are some games I enjoy. Like, there are some games I enjoy. Like, I guess I'll enjoy Final Fantasy VII or something like that. But, seriously, no Crash Bandicoot. At all. What the heck, Sony? I think that'll do for this video. I mean, come on, we've already talked about every single flippin' micro console out there, right? Or have we? Nope, that is not all, ladies and gentlemen. We have another console coming out this month, this year, September 2019. To be exact, and to be more exact, September 19th, 2019. It is coming out with around 42 games. 42 games. And it's going to be about... It's about $80 right now. So it's coming out with 42 games, $80, and my overall thoughts, pre-release, meh. I mean, I checked out the games for it. It's not like... I mean, I never grew up with the console, because the company behind it was out of the console market by then. So yeah, and you're probably wondering what micro console is coming out this year. Well, let me spell it out for you. me spell it out for you. That's a quill, by the way. This is a rough drawing, but it's supposed to be Sonic, okay? I'm not a good artist, okay? But yeah, it's supposed to be Sonic because I drew Sonic the Hedgehog, or Sonic the Hedgehog. But mainly because, yeah, he's getting his own micro console. It's the Sega Genesis Mini. And I would review it when it comes out, but I'm broke. So there's that. So yeah, I think that, so now I'll review it as soon as I get the money to review it, but then again, it's close to holiday season. I'll probably wait till the holiday season to get it. I don't know yet. But nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I know, it's really different than what I'm used to putting out for An Aspie's Guide to Gaming, but let me know in the comments below. Do you like this format or not? But nonetheless, if you enjoyed watching this video, drop a like you're dropping the bass. Wow. Give the subscribe button the smizzy stack. And I'll see you for the nights in the next video. Dudes.